This video is about Martin Luther and the Reformation. The Reformation started in 1517 when Luther published the 95 Theses. You can see the end of the first phase of the Reformation. In 1524, the Protestant faith was consolidated in wide parts of the empire. Apart from Martin Luther, important was Frederick the Wise, Elector of Saxony, the German state where Luther lived and worked. On the other side, there is the Pope Leo X and Charles V, the Emperor. The humanism, or the ideas of humanism, reached the north of Germany. Humanism was focusing on the human being, the language, and studying these ancient sources to Greek philosophers. The people were very, very religious, especially because of the ever-present death. But they had severe problems with the clergy, because the church was looking for more wealth and political influence and not fulfilling the actual pastoral role. Important to mention is the invention of printing. This should enable Luther's ideas to spread quickly and widely across the empire, and more, not only the empire, across Europe. And within the population, with regards to the population, there was widespread social and economic discontent. To the political dimension, there was a dualism between the emperor and the imperial states, the dukes and the princes. Furthermore, the emperor was not only the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, he was also king of Spain, and he had conflicts with the Ottoman Empire in the east and the French in the west. Now, from 1514 onwards, Luther developed his doctrine of justification, salvation by faith and not by good deeds. Then in around 1517, there was the selling of indulgences to finance St. Peter's Cathedral in Rome in the area of Wittenberg, and that, of course, contradicts Luther's doctrine, Luther's beliefs, and he published the 95 Theses on the 31st of October 1517. He had a few more publications and speeches, and the population loved it, rapid circulation and acceptance with the people. Now, it is worthwhile to have a look what was Luther's ideas, what were his main points. He relativized the papal infallibility, reduced the sacraments to 3, baptism, communion, and penance. And now his doctrine of justification, the key aspect. He said, salvation solely lies in God's mercy, but on earth man must prove his faith through good deeds. On a more social and political level, he demanded general education and poor relief. He wanted the hierarchy of institutional church and laymen abandoned, with Luther's words, the priesthood of all believers. And he, of course, criticized the materialistic behavior of the church, and with it, the papal states should go. So, of course, there is a conflict on between Luther on one side and the emperor and the pope on the other. So the pope threatened Luther to excommunicate, and when he received the bull of excommunication, he just burned it, so he was then excommunicated. But he had a chance to declare himself at the Diet of Worms, and there he should say his famous words, "Here I stand, God help me, I can do no other." So there was then the imperial ban on Luther. Not good times for him, so he went into hiding, arranged by Frederick the Wise. He was on the Wartburg and nowadays Thuringia, and there he translated the New Testament and defined the basis of the evangelic congregational life. Now, the Reformation was a bit violent then after a while. Luther had to come back and sort this out, which he did, and then the Protestant faith was consolidated in parts of the empire. This was then also the basis for further reformatory movements and the global spread of the evangelic faith. In the Holy Roman Empire, the Protestant faith was established by having territorial churches. And this meant an emancipation of the imperial states from the emperor. So the princes and dukes were strengthened, the emperor was weakened. But the Reformation also meant the basis for future conflicts, theological conflicts, and of course there's always a political dimension in it, and at last there was the 30 Years' War with all its devastation. That was the early phase of the Reformation in 5.